So we kind of have three tenets.
Right.
The most important real estate is between your ears, your personal drives your professional, and it's all about relationships. The second one here is the personal drives the professional. So what you got under attack? What did it start last year?
Yeah, and I'm scared to quote this one exactly because my wife counted a little bit differently, but I'll say, I say at one time I sat down and figured out, I thought it was 13. My wife said it was 11. Regardless of which number it was horrible. Within 11 months, I thought I counted 13 funerals that we went to or attended. And it was just, when you talk about, getting kicked when you're down, that defines our 2023.
So were these abstract people, like people in your friend network, or were they closer?
No, three of them were extremely close. My wife's mother and father were two of them last year. And then her best friend since high school was a third one. And then those were, how can you get any closer than those, right? But started to branch out there into family members. I had several uncles that passed away last year. I had several friends. Yeah, it was just nonstop. We just kept getting the air knocked out of our lungs to the point we couldn't hardly breathe. And each one of those affected my wife and I differently. I think obviously my mother and father-in-law affected me greatly. I can't begin to compare that to my wife, although I have lost my mother and my father in the past, so I can definitely relate. But it was almost unbearable for my wife. It was horrible for me as well, but I don't want to compare to the loss that my wife had. It definitely took our time and attention and focus off of business and the things around us, and caused us to turn our focus inward into us and our family, and trying to heal, trying to figure out how to keep moving and move forward. And so we were not only in personal crisis control, but we were in business. How do we just keep it afloat? It was not an advancement year. It was actually a negative year that now we are, to the best of our ability, moving forward, trying to get back on our feet and assess the damage, I guess, in this sense, as far as business goes. And we've kind of identified, really, we've got a probably 1 to 2 year process to dig out of the effects of last year. So we got to figure out, how do we do that? And one approach is I could kind of quit and give up and settle down and whatever. The other approach is, you know what? We could fight forward, and we could get out of this rather than give up and just accept a losing mentality. We can move forward and grow, and growing is the way to get out of it, rather than, talk budgets. Some people, their idea of fixing their shortfalls is to reduce their budget, right? Let's reduce our expenses. Well, another way to resolve a budget shortfall is, well, let's increase our income, right? So we are trying to take that approach and going, okay, if we're going to dig out of this, let's increase our income. Let's increase our growth. Let's do more to fix that problem than to try to do less and just weather the storm.
I like to think you have your Dave Ramsey on one shoulder and your Grant Cardone on the other. Like pay off all your debt, screw debt, 10X it. It's like that.
Yeah. And, those are both applicable in their own right situations. But for me and my mentality, having gotten rid of my W-2, this being my primary focus and goal in business and what I do on a daily basis, it's not about screw debt, but let's get some smart debt and let's use that debt, leverage it to make more income.
Good. I'm glad you shared that, because it's easy when you look at people, right? These heroes, and you think, oh, you have this, you have this, you have this. You don't have any issues anymore. And it's like, baloney. Your issues actually get bigger.
Bigger, yes, absolutely. When I look at my monthly expenses, that can be stressful in one aspect. You're going, man, I'm not just paying the rent or my mortgage and my grocery bill, my car payment. I'm now on the hook for a large amount of money every month to pay my investment debts too. And so it can have a different kind of strain and stress on your psyche for sure, if not mentally, emotionally, and even physically, because that all rolls downhill, right? The mental and emotional affects your physical. So yeah, it can be